Hey everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done seeing the Flash movie, which is crazy that I'm saying that. I just got done seeing the Flash movie. If you guys have known here a part of the channel before, I said I was not going to go see this movie. You guys know that initially when we first got the DC fandom and we got our first teaser for the Flash movie, you guys knew how excited I was for this movie. I think we all were until the Ezra of it all of Ezra's bullshit hitting the fan and kind of, that split a lot of fans down the middle of, okay, can we like there was a lot of people saying I can't go support this movie due to the shit Ezra's been doing. There was a lot of people saying I can separate, Ezra from the character. I'm going to go see this movie. And there was a lot of people saying I'm going to go see this movie, of course, for Michael Keaton. And there was some people saying I'm going to go see this movie for Sasha Kaye. And, I was one of those people saying I can't go see this movie because, I don't want to support Ezra Miller and all the shit Ezra has been doing. Whether this movie was made before Ezra Miller decided to do all the stuff Ezra did, I just felt like I cannot go see this movie. But, my brother, is a huge Michael Keaton Batman fan, and he asked me to go with him as a birthday present, and I said, yeah, I'll go. Because also he really wanted me to experience a lot of the kind of like the cameos that we got in this movie. And there was a certain cameo that, I heard the day before that was, I guess, confirmed of the person being in the movie. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, I gotta go. Mind you, I'm a huge Flash fan. I watched the CW Flash when it first aired on the CW way back when, with, of course, Grant Gustin. Grant Gustin, I just want to say out the gate, is my Flash. Whether I didn't like all the other seasons past season 3, I've always was intrigued by the character of the Flash, and I fell in love with the character of the Flash. I did not like Ezra's interpretation when I first saw Ezra's interpretation in the Justice League. Did not like it. When we got the Snyder cut, I was like, okay, Snyder had a different idea of a way that Snyder wanted Ezra to play a different version of Barry Allen, and in that version, I liked that version of Barry Allen. So when, I was like, okay, I'm excited to see, before all the shit happened with Ezra, I was excited to see, what they were going to do with the Flash movie. Things hit the fan, and I just felt like I could not support this movie until my brother asked me to go. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go. I didn't pay for the ticket, so I feel like, okay, that, I didn't give this movie any money, so I was like, I'm not paying for the ticket. I feel like I didn't give this movie any money. I can go into this and just sit down and just go watch it. Mind you, I didn't think our trailer that we got for it, I did not think looked great at all. I feel like that went hand in hand, feeling like I shouldn't feel bad about not going. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not missing out on anything good, because the first trailer we got for the movie, I just did not like. And then as we kept getting closer to the movie, I was like, okay, I don't think this movie looks good. I think the CGI looks terrible. And even going into this movie today, leading up into going into this movie today, the kind of like the people leaking scenes from the movie, I was like, this movie does not look good. Not only that, but like Michael, I think his name is Michael Muschietti, if I'm correct, the director of the movie, came out saying that, the movie was supposed to have intentionally bad CGI. And I just went to myself, I thought to myself, why would you want your movie to have intentional bad CGI? Like, why would you want it to be intentionally, bad? Like, why would you want your movie to look bad with the CGI? And he came out saying, like, oh, it's supposed to be Barry's interpretation, like, it's supposed to not look good. Mind you, there was a lot of this movie that looked like claymation. It looked terrible. It looked like some Polar Express. A lot of people came out saying it. People leaked some scenes that looked like Polar Express. That kind of, I now understand what people mean by those sequences looking like Polar Express. And it's one of those things where it's like, no matter how good this story was, the CGI took you out in a lot of sequences. Mind you, to the case in point, when people said the CGI looked like Polar Express, it's mainly when, like, Barry is going back in time using the Speed Force. To start off, I hate the way they use the Speed Force in this movie. I really hate it. It's like Barry in this lightning cocoon, and he's backpedaling, trying to go back in time or going forward in time. He's just standing in place, running in place in this lightning orange cocoon, while there's like sandy claymation around him, showing him going back or forward in time. And I hate it. I thought it looked so ugly, so claymation looking. Polar Express, it almost looked creepy, like Polar Express creepy. And I was like, they should not have made the Speed Force look like this. I think, case in point, I think the CW, like, Flash going into the Speed Force sequences that they shot for the show, I thought were a lot better than them doing the Flash, going into the Speed Force sequences in this movie. So that definitely was a big, like, thumbs down on my behalf, because I thought it looked ugly the way they used the Speed Force in this movie. And I thought it looked just, overall creepy looking, with it looking like Polar Express, like, CGI. I'm talking like Mummy too. If you've seen the Mummy, from the way The Rock looked at Scorpion King, I'm talking that bad of CGI. Like, just, it pulls you out of, like, we have like advanced in CGI. Like, we've made some great advancements, and hearing, Michael Muschietti coming out saying it's supposed to look bad, the CGI, just does not rub me the right way. It makes me feel like how this movie had such a big budget. Why would you make this movie look bad intentionally? Like, why would you make it look bad? Like, what were you spending your money on? Because the budget for this movie was insane, which, you know what I mean, which makes me think the CGI should have looked good in this movie. So it makes me also, it goes back to the question of, like, people said, when Ezra did all the bullshit Ezra was doing, people are like, why don't you just reshoot the film? And then people are like, it's because all the money they put into this film. You know what I mean? But him coming out saying they put intentionally bad CGI in this movie makes me feel like they could have really just reshot this movie. It kind of just, like, it kind of, like, debunks that argument of, oh, they put all the money into it. If you really put all the money into it, the movie wouldn't look like claymation in a lot of sequences of the movie, especially the most important part when Barry is using the Speed Force for the first time to try to go save his mother. The opening sequence of this movie with, Barry trying to help, trying to suit up to go help, of course, Ben Affleck's Batman, take down kind of, like, I guess there was like a big chase sequence in Gotham, and, Batman's trying to get this kind of, I guess this toxic agent that someone took from Gotham, I think it was I guess that was from like Arkham Asylum. Like, he took it from Arkham. These dudes, like, took this drug out of Arkham, and he's trying to do this big chase sequence and wants Barry to help him. And Barry is, like, saving these babies from this building. Looked very claymation, the babies. I thought the initial takeoff, I thought, was pretty cool. But as you see Barry running, it just looks bad, the CGI. It just does not look good. And it almost looks like he's, like, floating, let alone running. The one thing I would say about this movie in a lot of sequences, the running looks a lot better than it's looked in the past of, this version of the Flash, with the almost swimming, arm flailing. It looked a little bit more cleaner and put together. Like, Barry's been training a lot more. But there was a lot of sequences where it just came back again, like the flailing arms, and that point kind of came back when, like, Barry ends up going back in time and kind of things get all messed up, because the big thing of that kind of sets things to go back in time was Barry, I guess Barry's mother, Nora, forgot, spaghetti sauce, and that's when Barry's father had to go out and get spaghetti sauce. But I guess, because it all got switched around on how Barry's mother dies and how, his father gets framed for it. It's the fact that he didn't show up on the security cam to prove that, he was there and wasn't there at the house when his mother was, murdered. So it's kind of like, it all boiled down that if you looked at the security cam when he went to go pick up the sauce, he wouldn't have been convicted of, killing, Barry's mother. So it's one of those things where it's like, if, like, it didn't capture right, so the police think that, oh, Barry's father was at home and killed Barry's mother, because he wasn't, his face wasn't shown on the security feed when he went to go get the tomato sauce. So it's one of those things where, like, he, of course, it was one of those things where he had to go back in time, put the tomato sauce in his mom's cart, so that way, it would never be put in the situation where like his father would be convicted, and it wouldn't be put in the situation where like his mother would die if Barry's father wasn't there. So since the father never left to go get the tomato sauce, and it turns out Nora got the tomato sauce earlier, so that way Barry's father wouldn't have to go out to get the tomato sauce. It made it where Barry's mother survived, and it's one of those things where it's like it was funny seeing a younger Barry, an 18-year-old Barry, not being the Flash yet, but also it was kind of like really crazy knowing that there was no Aquaman in this universe. There was no Clark Kent on Earth, so Kal-El did not make it to Earth. That's another thing. There was there was no Wonder Woman. There was no Dinah. Like Diana. There was no Diana. So it was very crazy seeing all that in the Flashpoint of it all. There only being Barry and a younger version of Barry that doesn't have his powers yet, and of course Michael Keaton's Batman was in this universe as well. There is no Ben Affleck Batman. There is no Bruce Wayne from Barry's universe. Like the Bruce Wayne of Barry's universe does not exist. It ends up being Michael Keaton's Batman. And the thing of it that I really did not like about it is that when we meet Michael Keaton's Batman, my brother even said it, and he's a huge Michael Keaton Batman fan. He said he did not like how they made Michael Keaton very like hermit-like and funny-like in the beginning when we meet when we meet Bruce Wayne at his mansion. My brother's like, why is he acting like this, Michael Keaton's Batman? Like, why is he acting all funny, acting all hermit-like? I even said to him, this reminds me of like when Mark Hamill was playing Luke Skywalker and he was acting very hermit-like and not acting like his character almost. I got those vibes and my brother got those vibes, so he didn't like the comedic part of Michael Keaton in the beginning when like the two Barrys go into the mansion looking for Barry's looking for his Bruce Wayne, seeing if like his Bruce is still there, but he ends up discovering it's not his Bruce, it's actually Michael Keaton's Bruce, which I thought it was funny in the beginning. I mind you, I don't really care as much for Michael Keaton's Batman, so seeing that I was kind of just laughing, and I kind of was expected because when he explains that Gotham City is the safest city, is the safest city. On the I guess on Earth, like I guess is the safest city on Earth. I kind of explained that I guess that would make sense why Michael Keaton's Batman is a little bit more chill and kind of very very hermit-like because he has no reason to go out. He doesn't go out as Batman anymore, so I guess he's kind of in his own head, eating food, probably taking some drugs and drinking and doing painting and doing whatever, just chilling. It kind of made sense to me, but my brother didn't like that part. But I just thought it was funny, especially because the our Barry not having his powers anymore because he tries to get younger Barry tries to get him his powers because Barry realized, okay, if my younger self doesn't get these powers and he goes out on a date with Iris, that means I could be stuck here and I won't be able to fix things. So he tries to make sure that his younger self gets the powers so he is able to get back to his universe. That whole sequence where he tries to get his younger self to take the bolt of lightning to get the abilities, but that Barry doesn't want to, and it kind of makes it where like our Barry transfers his abilities to his younger self, where our Barry has no abilities. That was a funny part. That was probably one, if not the funniest moments of the movie that I actually really enjoyed, is like that one sequence I really enjoyed because I thought it was also funny that Andy Muschietti was or I said Ben saying Michael Muschietti, Andy Muschietti, sorry about that. Kind of poked fun at the fact of how we all make fun of Ezra Miller's Barry Allen run. There's a moment where like Barry is trying to get his younger self and him out of the building, and he's like, okay, like I can't phase. Do I still have my abilities? And it starts just running around in circles like this, and it's kind of Andy Muschietti poking fun at the fact that we make fun of the way that Barry runs. I thought that was so funny because I was like, that's spot on. I'm glad that they're acknowledging that this run is terrible. So it's almost like Andy Muschietti was like, I know the run is terrible, but we got to poke fun at it, and there's a way to do it for all the people that hate that run. Because again, like I said, Andy Muschietti kind of corrected the way Barry runs in this movie due to, I feel like, his experience of Barry learning how to use his abilities a little bit more. Like I said, there were some sequences where Barry was still doing this. Hence, there was a moment of the movie where Barry, is talking to his father, and talking to his father in prison, has like a call with his father, and goes back to his house. And there is a disconnected call, and the next day is his father's court hearing of whether he'll get released or not from prison, or he'll be spending life in prison. And Barry just gets so upset that that's the moment where he chooses to run back in, like, I guess he realizes that he can run back in time. Mind you, I feel like that doesn't make any sense, because that in this movie is supposed to be the defining moment where Barry realizes I can run back in time, when in reality we all know Barry's knew that he can run back in time if you saw the Snyder cut. So that's something that doesn't really make sense to me, we know that Barry knows how to run back in time due to the Snyder cut, but yet in this movie Barry is learning that he can run back in time for the first time, almost, where when he gets upset, when he's leaving his parents' place, because he's upset about, there's a chance his father might spend his entire life in prison, and he realizes, oh my god, I can go back in time. So that didn't really make sense to me, that point in the movie, where I was like, okay, so like, what is Barry real? Like, I thought he knew he could go back in time, so why is it like he is now realizing, due to him running and being upset, now he can go back in time to save his mother? I was like, that kind of doesn't make any sense to me. I guess they wanted to just start from scratch, I guess, but that annoys me, because they kind of mention the events, due to, of course, Ben Affleck's Batman being here and the Justice League being formed, and the cameo of Diana in the beginning of this movie saving Batman from falling down with that toxic agent from Arkham Asylum being dropped into the water. Which, that was a cool cameo from Wonder Woman, from Gal Gadot. I thought that was a really cool cameo that she was in here. But it just goes to show that it's like this is the same universe, and that is that is canon, where like the Snyder cut happened and all that stuff. So why is it that Barry is kind of like now realizing he can go back in time? I just didn't think that made any sense. But that scene when he was running to go back in time for the first time, I really did enjoy. I thought it started out slow, and it started playing the new Flash theme of the movie. I liked how it started out slow when he was running, and then he picked up speed and he ran. I thought that was really good CGI. I thought that looked really cool, until we got to the point where he's actually in the Speed Force, and he's like running in place, and there's like weird Polar Express people around him that with terrible CGI. I just didn't like that part, but I liked his initial, like, he's upset and he's running, and he gets upset to the point where he's literally running into the Speed Force. I like the way that looked. That was really cool. The big standout part of this movie was when we get to Michael Keaton's Batman. He is helped. They think they track down, Superman. And mind you, Zod is already here at this point, and they're running on the clock to try to find Superman to take out Zod. Of course, when we end up getting to this Russian facility, they end up finding out that you're not Clark. Of course, it is Kara Zor-El, or it's Sasha, Kaye, aka Kara Zor-El. You know what I mean? Which I thought Sasha killed it. I thought she gave a great performance. I really want her to be Supergirl going into James Gunn's universe. I really hope that we can have her, because sadly enough, she ends up dying over and over. It's like a fixed point in this movie when she ends up fighting Zod. She ends up dying, and we end up finding out that Zod actually ends up, killing, and I guess, I don't know if, I think Zod killed Kal-El, because Zod said that Kal-El didn't make it when they went after Kal-El's pod, and they thought Kal-El had the, all the DNA of the past Kryptonians in him, but he actually didn't. So he ended up not making it. So, it's one of those things where it's like, Zod had to kill, Kara to get all that, get all the DNA of all the Kryptonians to rebuild, Krypton, of course, on Earth. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I don't know if they'll be able to bring her back. I would hope so, because like I said, I think Sasha Kaye killed it. The moment she came, the moment when they opened up the thing and we see how weak Kara is, I love the whole scene. The best part of the movies was when, Michael Keaton was going to town on all of those Russian soldiers trying to get Barry, Barry that has no abilities, and Barry, a young Barry that is not experienced with the Flash abilities yet. I just loved how he was like the one to get them in, and the one that was going to town on all these like Russian, all these Russians out at this facility, keeping Kara locked up. I liked how he was just beating the shit out of them. it was so cool seeing Michael Keaton move like that because we have never seen him move like that in his movies. So to see a more gruesome, more combat Michael Keaton Batman, that made me have a little bit more respect for Michael Keaton's Batman, for someone that really didn't grow up with that Batman, and he's kind of like my least favorite Batman out of all the Batmans. I would say, that made me get a little bit more respect for him. Not to say I don't like Michael Keaton's Batman movies. I do. I think they're good, but he was just never my Batman. The one thing I really do love about Michael Keaton's Batman movies is the universe that Tim Burton has built. It looks like it was taken straight from the comics. I love the way Gotham City looks. And we still get those vibes with Michael Keaton's Batman. Like when he's fighting and doing all these things, it's very reminiscent of what he did in his own movies. And you can just tell that Michael Keaton's having a fun time playing the Batman character again. You can really tell he's just having a fun time. So that was probably the coolest part of the movie, was seeing them break into the Russian facility, trying to break out Kara, or trying to find, Clark, and not finding Clark, but finding Kara, and they're trying to, Michael, and we have Michael Keaton's Batman trying to break them out and trying to get them out of there. But the moment when they get out of there, it was really cool seeing Sasha Calle's, like, seeing her, like, her first fight sequence as Supergirl when they're outside and she's fighting in the snow, which we saw in like our first trailer I think we got. So that was a really cool part of the movie as well. Then my other favorite part of the movie was the ending of the movie. I thought the ending of the movie was really cool, having Michael Keaton's Batman. We had Kara, we had our Barry, we had younger Barry, all going in there at the end of the movie trying to stop Zod. The best part of the movie was Kara versus Zod. That was fire. She was beating the shit out of him when she found out that Zod killed Kal-El. Dude, she punched him into his own spaceship, and right there. And bro was just it almost looked like he was an action figure and stuck in plastic. Bro was literally Buzz Lightyear stuck up in plastic, chilling there for a while. She beat the shit out of him to the point where he was just chilling, stuck into his ship. That was so badass, seeing her fight choreography and just seeing how angry she was. She's definitely more gruesome with her fighting than Kal-El is. Mind you, she has no respect for humans due to the fact when she arrives on Earth, humans, kind of, enslaved her and put her in a big metal, a big kind of, iron, iron kind of chamber with kryptonite in there to make her weak. So she has no humanity for humans. She has no humanity for them. So that's why she was just beating them up when she got out of that Russian facility. And that's why, but then, she realized there is humanity in people when she saw the fact that even though they knew, even though that Barry and younger Barry knew that she wasn't, that she wasn't Kal-El, they still saved her because she needed help. And she sees the humanity, and that's what makes her want to go help them, stop Zod. And say that, she saw that Zod was willing to just, want to hurt people, and she's like, that's, us Kryptonians are very hopeful, and we're all about peace, and that's not what Zod stands for. He's causing, just mass destruction and all that, and I'm gonna help you stop him. You know what I mean? Because he is not Kryptonian in my eyes, because that's not how the way us Kryptonians act. I really just love the performance that Sasha Calle gave as Supergirl, and I'm really hoping there's a way James Gunn can make her Supergirl. I know that, there is a Supergirl movie coming out. I think it's a movie, not a TV show. I really want her to be Supergirl. I know in this movie, it was a fixed kind of point where she kept dying, and the younger Barry wanted to save her, but he couldn't do it, and he actually ends up, this isn't even kind of like a shocker to me. This wasn't a shocker to me in the movie, and this was like the big shocking point of the movie, where like the reason that kind of, because Barry was successful saving his mom and was trying to catch up to present day until a dark flash knocked Barry out and put him into this universe where there is a younger Barry, and he's like kind of, face to face with a younger Barry. You know what I mean? And we end up finding out that, that dark Flash is actually younger Flash. I knew that due to toy leaks. That was not like, oh my God, no way that like the dark Flash what was made our Flash go into that universe so that way younger Barry could turn into that Dark Flash that pushed him into this universe. That was supposed to be a big, oh my god, holy shit moment, that this younger Barry turns into Dark Flash and is kind of like our Flash's enemy. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be like a holy shit moment, but I knew due to toy leaks that there was a Dark Flash in here, and I knew by the way that the costume looked and due to the way that they showed stuff in the trailer, I knew that the younger Barry was going to be Dark Flash. I knew it. So while my sister gasped and my brother was like, "Oh my god, no way," I was like, I knew this. So that there, I'm not giving any points for that because I'm like, I knew they like spoiled it, like due to toy leaks, due to them putting too much information in the trailers. It's kind of like they kind of gave away the villain of the movie. It wasn't really a shocking factor to me. So it's one of those things where it's like, as much as I like I said, the standout points of this movie are Kara versus Zod, Michael Keaton, taking everybody out in the Russian facility. That's another one. And then probably another sequence I really did like as well was the moment where we have the two Flashes working together, at that final fight in the movie, and they're doing combinations together. They're doing combos together, trying to take out these Kryptonians. I loved when our Barry made the tornado, flew through it, so that way the younger Barry could go into the tornado and kind of like drop kick that like a bad Kryptonian. That was badass. That kind of like that combo that they did. That was really cool. Seeing that happen, that was like probably the coolest moment of the movie of Flash using his abilities. Not the phasing. I felt like that was overused in the movie, and it was like a gag for the younger Barry when he got our Barry's powers. The younger Barry just kept phasing through everything and was like naked, and a couple segments and like this one long segment of the movie when like the younger Barry realizes he has our Barry's powers and is like running all throughout Central City and like caused the power outage, caused his clothes to get on fire, and kept phasing through different points of the building where like people saw him naked. And there was like two moments where like he was running through the street and he said like, "Oh my god, my dick's on fire." He said, I think younger Barry said that at one point, or he said, "Oh, my dick." And then there was another point of the movie where I think he said, "Oh my god," like he said something else about his dick. There was a lot of weird dick jokes in this movie too. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, why? But like I said, the standout parts of the movie was again Kara versus Zod, and of course Michael Keaton's Batman versus the Russians in the facility trying to get out, trying to get Kara out of there and trying to get the two Barrys out of there. That was probably the two coolest moments of the movie. Now, like I said, I think this movie was overhyped. I'm gonna say it. This movie was really overhyped. To have Tom, and I know why. I know damn well why Tom Cruise said that, this movie is what cinema needs, is because there was a Top Gun reference in this movie. And damn well when Bro saw that, Bro came out saying, "Oh, this is what cinema needs," because they put a reference to Top Gun and Tom Cruise in the movie. That alone made me say that's what made them say it. This movie was not the thing. It was not what cinema needed. Like, it really wasn't. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is what the movie theaters needed. Across the Spider-Verse is what movie theaters needed. This movie is just It's an okay movie. I was really overhyped. Again, and it sucks for me to say that because I'm a huge Flash fan. And I just, and you know what I mean? And I was going to go see it, and I was really hoping, if anything, out of all the drama of Ezra, the shit Ezra did, and me hearing that they intentionally made the CGI bad, I was really hoping going into this movie with no hope. I was like at least hoping the hype was real about this movie. That was the one thing I was at least hoping for. That, okay, I know the CGI is going to be bad. I know, this movie is really overhyped right now. No, I knew the CGI is bad. I know that, all the shit Ezra's been doing and all the drama behind there and all the drama of them, of how many directors we got for this movie and how many writers we got for this movie. You know what I mean? For them to look for writers and how many different directors we went through, how many different writers we went through. I was really hoping at least, hopefully the hype is real of people saying that this movie is good. And it just was not real. It was overhyped. And I felt like it was such them buying Tom Cruise's oh, this is what cinema needs, was that was it I can't remember his name right now. It's I'm trying to remember what his name is. Like blanking on his name right now. The director of the movie. I don't know why I'm blanking. Director Andy Muschietti. I feel like that was him totally like putting that in there to get Tom Cruise to say that. I feel like that. That's honestly how it feels because, like I said, it just this movie wasn't it. It was an okay movie with a couple great sequences in the movie. The story was just eh. It was just a different play on the Flashpoint storyline. But even me, I think the Flashpoint storyline is still better than this movie. And might I say that Ben Affleck's Batman costume in the beginning of this movie was terrible. It was a shitty fucking costume. It looked terrible. It looked like I couldn't even tell. It looked like it had puzzle pieces all over it, like puzzle piece armor parts all over a kind of a new interpretation of the classic, blue and gray Batman costume. It looked way too. It looked way too over designed when you could have just made it simply, gray and blue. You could have just done that. It was an ugly ass costume, and weirdly the mask looked weird too when he was talking to Diana when Diana saved him with the lasso of truth. It just didn't. The mask looked weird in daylight. But like I said, this movie was just okay. The ending of this movie got me hella confused with George Clooney's, Bruce Wayne coming out at the end when we think that, Barry saved saved the universe, like saved this universe. We don't have Ben Affleck's Batman. It's George Clooney's Batman. So I'm very confused because at the end of the movie that younger Barry sees that, that Dark Flash is him and like sacrifices himself so that way our Barry can live and fix things, and make everything play out where his mom needs to die, but also made it fixed where like his father, when he went to go get the can of tomato sauce, made it where like the cans were up a little higher on the shelf, so his father would have to look up at the security feed, so that way Barry's father would be able to get out of prison. So maybe that's the thing that maybe made it where it's like, okay, your father had to go to jail, so that's why there's George Clooney Batman, or George Clooney Bruce Wayne, and that's why there is no Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne. I'm just very confused on like, is the universe fixed or not? I honestly don't know. I feel like they made this so much for them rebooting because that confuses me. There being George Clooney Batman at the end, so like, what does that mean? Is he gonna be like Batman of the new DCU? Like the DCEU is like, it's confusing. This movie was supposed to make things unconfusing, but you made things more confusing having George Clooney pop up as Bruce Wayne at the end of the movie. Very confusing. Okay, now I'm about to talk about the greatest cameo of the movie. This is probably the best part of the movie. And I mentioned my favorite scenes of the movie, but this is the best part of the movie. They put Nicolas Cage's Superman as a cameo in this movie, where all these universes are colliding because Dark Flash is interacting and telling and explaining to our Barry that he had to knock Barry into this universe so that way younger Barry could become him. While all that's going on, the universes are colliding. We're seeing a universe where Nicolas Cage is Superman, and we knew that Nicolas Cage was actually supposed to be Superman. I think if I'm correct, in Tim Burton's like universe, Batman universe, like he was supposed to be Superman in that universe, if I'm correct. So the fact that they made it where like in a universe, Nicolas Cage actually became Superman. It actually went like it. Like we have it in a universe. It did happen. Seeing that was the best cameo of all time. Of all time. I love Nicolas Cage. I love how bro is so memed. Nicolas Cage. I have so much respect for his Ghost Rider that like seeing that. I thought also that would be the funniest thing if that actually. Could you imagine if we would have actually gotten a Nicolas Cage Superman, how memed and awesome that would have been? It probably would have been shit, but it would have been so memed and such a treasure of meme culture. It would have been the greatest thing of all time. So the fact that we got it here, that Andy Muschietti put that cameo in there, it made it the best thing about this movie was honestly that. That was probably the best cameo ever. Of course, we got the GOAT, Christopher Reeves. They put Christopher Reeves in here, and also they put Christopher Reeves, Kara in there as well. If I'm correct, I don't know if those. I can't remember if those were connected or not. But either way, we got like the old Kara in here. We had the old Batman from the TV show back in the day. We had him in here. We had so many, and probably so much more Batman cameos. I probably wouldn't be surprised if we saw like Christian Bale's Batman in one of these universes of the universes colliding. I just couldn't tell because like the CGI for like the universes colliding and like and us seeing these cameos was weird. So I don't know, maybe we saw Christian Bale's Batman and maybe I just didn't see it, but new rock stars will probably point it out. I'm not quite sure. But either way, that was the best cameo, honestly. It was cool seeing Christopher Reeves back, of course, the GOAT, but that was the best cameo, seeing Nicolas Cage's, Superman. That was the best thing ever. I couldn't get over it. I want a Nicolas Cage's Superman. I want it. I don't give a shit how outlandish it would be, how goofy it would be, how memed it would be. It would be awesome because it would be memed. It would be the greatest thing on earth. I want it. James Gunn, if you see this, get us a Nicolas Cage Superman movie. Make it an Elseworlds thing. I don't give a shit. You can even tie him into that one sequence we saw in this cameo in that universe. You know what I mean? He could already be Superman, and we could just see what bro's been doing in his universe as Superman. I don't give a shit. I just want to go see. I want to see it. That's so memed, and they made the meme come to life literally by them making it a reality where there is a universe where Nicolas Cage is Superman. That was the best part of the movie. Honestly, I swear to God, it was. Now the thing I want to mention is, right now this movie, and again, I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. I really don't. But I like to see what Rotten Tomatoes says and see if I even agree. Now, The Flash right now is sitting at 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it deserves that, a 67. I'd say that's a pretty damn good spot. I wouldn't say this movie is any better than a 67. It's fresh. That's it. It's not rotten. It's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. And also the audience gives it an 86. That's fine. I think I don't know if an 86 is all right. Personally, I think it should be at just at least maybe an 80. I would say the 86 is a little bit. I wouldn't give it that, but in reality, I can agree with it. I'm not too mad at it that the audience is giving it an 86. I feel like mainly the reason the audience is giving it an 86 is due to Michael Keaton. If Michael Keaton's Batman was not in this film, this movie, I feel like, would not be getting as much hype and love if it wasn't for him being in the movie and people wanting to see him due to nostalgia purposes. Without Michael Keaton, this movie does nothing. I feel like him and also Sasha Calle's Supergirl were the best parts about this movie and the biggest standout parts about this movie. I can't lie, towards the end of this movie where kind of Barry's saying goodbye to his mom, that made me tear up a little bit. And that was due to the good acting of Ezra Miller. That was some real great acting in that sequence. I thought it was good. Now, what did I think about the two different Barrys? I thought you definitely could tell the different, like you could tell them apart due to one unexperienced Barry that's very goofy, that's an 18-year-old, and then due to an older Barry that's more experienced being the Flash and is a little bit more mature. You could tell the difference, and also the hair kind of gave it away as well. Longer hair for the younger Barry, shorter hair for the older Barry. It was one of those things where like the CGI looked good at times when they were split. When you saw the two Barrys, there was some times where the CGI did not look good when you saw the two Barrys right next to each other. Mainly, it's the one part where Supergirl or Kara says, "Who are you?" and what's your name? Or she says, "Who are you?" and he's like, "We're Barry." That's what the younger Barry says. That CGI does not look good right there. So, but again, it's one of those things where it's like we can't be surprised that the CGI doesn't look good because, or we can't be yelled at by us critiquing this because that the director outright said the CGI is supposed to look bad. So me saying these things, I don't want to hear anybody in the comment section saying like, oh well, that's just your opinion that the CGI looked bad. It looked bad. The director came out and outright said it's supposed to look bad. So there is no people just saying that, oh, you're just saying that, you know what I mean? You don't know what you're talking about. The CGI was good. No, it wasn't. Us saying the CGI was bad, it, we're correct because the director said the CGI is supposed to look bad. So any argument that people having that argument with people saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, the CGI is good, I'm not going to listen to you because I know I'm correct because, again, the director outright said the CGI was bad. So me saying these things, I know what I'm talking about. But I'm really curious to know, guys, down in the comments below, what did you guys think of the Flash movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Like I said, I thought it was an okay film. I probably would never watch it again. And if I watch it again, I'm only going to watch it for those sequences that I liked in the movie and then probably turn it off, if I'm being honest. Do I think this is a good direction for DC? Yeah, I think that this is a lot of step up from a lot of DC movies that we've had in the DC universe. Do I think it's a good step into the new DC universe? No, because this just confuses me even more. I think we won't be able to tell if it's the right step in the DC universe until we have Blue Beetle, because that's actually a part of James Gunn's DCU reboot. Like that's like the first project of it. Even though it's weird that the Flash movie is the first movie to showcase the James Gunn DC universe. That makes no sense. But it is what it is. We won't know if it's the right step until we see Blue Beetle, which I'm excited to see Blue Beetle. It's actually the one DC movie, to start of James Gunn's universe that I'm actually really excited for because I really do like Xolo Maridueña. Of course, he's the actor that's playing the character of Jaime Reyes, aka Blue Beetle. I'm excited for that movie because Xolo is in it, and I'm excited to kind of learn about the character through Xolo playing the character of Jaime Reyes. So I'm actually really excited to see Blue Beetle when it comes out. Expect a review for that. Guys, down in the comments below, let me know. Did you like The Flash? Do you think the hype was real? Do you think the hype wasn't real? Do you think it was overhyped? Did you think the movie was just okay? Did you think the movie was great? Did you not like the movie at all? What was your favorite part of the movie? Definitely let me know down in the comments below. Also, let me know what was the standout part of the movie if you really did enjoy the movie. Like, what was the most standout part of the movie? I'm really curious to know. As always, guys, here, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like the video. I would love to have you guys here, a part of the family, part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And yet again, guys, we are almost to 800 subscribers. That is the goal, to hit 800 subscribers. And guys, also later on, I will be streaming Spider-Man Remastered on New Game Plus, kind of as a lead up over on my gaming channel, as a lead up to the release of Spider-Man 2. I will be streaming, also again, a reminder, I will be streaming Spider-Man 2 once I get my copy on October 20th on release day. So stay tuned for that and come join me over on my live stream at 6 o'clock over on my gaming channel at Heroverse Gaming. But guys, yet again, that was the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.